And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and I'm back with another tier list. So this is the finale to my tier list series. Sorry it took a little bit to get out. I've been really busy this week. So today we're going to be ranking the top centers in NBA 2K21 my team. But before we get started, let's go over the parameters. Number one, only primary position centers are to be ranked today. All the power forward slash centers would be in our power forward tier list that I did a few days back. So there's that. Let's go into the tiers. S tier, unquestionable best cards in the game. Now this gets tricky with centers because we've been getting a lot of really good ones, and only so many can go into S tier, so I will qualify each one based on how I feel. These guys are usually like 5-tool guys. They can do a little bit of anything, or anything and everything. Anybody could pick them up and their team would instantly be better, and that's what kind of qualifies them for S tier. A tier guys, just a shade under S tier. Maybe they have one or two weaknesses, maybe there's a couple play styles, like one or two that they might not fit, but still elite cards. You could argue for your play style they deserve to be in S tier, etc. So, like I said, I'll be ranking them in each tier, and I'll also talk about them a little bit too. B tier guys, they're either 3 or 4 tool guys that are really good, but just not quite at the A tier level. They're not as complete. Or they're cards that used to be incredible but are just kind of falling off because of power balancing and time. C tier, specialist guys. These are your mid-tier guys. These are guys that are relatively cheap, work well for your team, and for certain play styles they're going to be great. Just they're not as complete as B and above tier guys. D tier, really specialist guys. Guys I generally wouldn't recommend unless you run like a certain play style or you're particularly good with one of their jump shots or the way they play and handle, etc. They do like one or two things really well, and that's about it. F tier guys, definitely not worthless by any means, but there's just cards that do what they do better, so that's why they're down in F tier. And without further ado, let's get started. Art Gilmore. F. I like Art Gilmore. He's a fun card to use, but I mean, he's a day one card. He's just slow, he's sluggish, he can't shoot. Shoot a little bit of mid-range, a lot of cold zones. Just, at this point in the game, you can do better. Next up, we got Arvydas Sabonis. I would put him in C tier. He's still really good. He can shoot. He's got great size. He can move pretty well, surprisingly. That being said, he's just not elite anymore. Bam is the same way. Bam's basically different than Arvydas in playstyle, but the end result is the same. Just a great defensive card. He moves pretty well. He has an okay jump shot. He can hit him if he's wide open, but he's a Season 3 card. It's just his time has passed. It's not really his fault. Ben Wallace. I like him better than Art Gilmore, but he's still like F tier. Bismack Bamba. I like him better than Ben Wallace, but they're pretty similar. Bismack's probably the first person that gets dropped into F tier. I don't like this card at all, but like I like him better than all three of these guys. Mark Eaton is terrible. Bol, I would put Bol in D tier. I mean, he's alright. You're not going to tell me you'd use Bol over Bam and Arvydas. Maybe you would. Brook Lopez, I think, is a little bit better than Arvydas, but you could argue either one of these two. But he's a great mid-tier center option. He's got good size. He's not fast, but he's not terribly slow, and he shoots the ball pretty well. He's a good 3-and-D center. Yao Ming, I would put Yao in B tier. Simply for his post abilities. Like, he's a great rebounder. He is a little bit slow, but he has 70 speed. It's not terrible. He can shoot the mid-range just fine. If he's wide open, he can crack threes occasionally. But where he shines is the post. He is an unstoppable god in the post. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's actually kind of ridiculous. He's so tall that it's just hard to contest his shots even. He's got a huge wingspan too. I guess he doesn't really have a huge wingspan, but he can crack open three-pointers from the corner, especially if you have like a shoe and stuff on him. Like I said, I try not to rank with badged up, but at the same time, he plays great defense. He's excellent in the post. That's what gets him in B tier. Now, you could argue that like Brook Lopez is a better card for your playstyle, but I think overall, like Yao Ming's ability to dominate the post still makes him a better overall card, though I would probably put him lower in B tier, as we'll see. Big Country. I mean, he's better than these guys simply for the ability of shooting. Like, he can shoot better. Chris Bosh, I would put him like right behind Arvydas and Brook Lopez, but ahead of Bam Adebayo. Very mid-tier card, still good. I like his jump shot a lot. He's got gold range and stuff. He's a good card. It's just time's passed him by. Boucher, I like him better than Yao Ming. He's like a do-it-all center. The only downside for Boucher is that he's I think it's Boucher, not Boucher. He's just a little bit small, but other than that, he's great. I'm going to pick this card up once we get Moment Super Packs and his price goes down a little bit. I don't have anything negative at all about this card. Like, nothing to say negative, except for he's a little bit small. That's literally it. Other than that, he's great. Chris Kaman, I would say he's like the top of C tier right now. He's actually a really good card. Jump shot 50 is not great. That's like Jay Williams' jump shot. It's not terrible, but it's not bad. Or it's not great, I should say. 79 speed, yeah, you'd like to see more of that. He's a little more complete than Yao Ming, but what Yao Ming does better, like well, he does very well. Whereas what Chris Kaman does well, bunch of guys do that. Clint Capela, I'd probably put him down in D. I don't really like Clint Capela. I might move him up to C tier. I mean, he's a decent post player. He's decent defensively. He just like, he moves pretty well though. He's got Jokic's jump shot, but at the same time, like, he can't really hit mid ranges that well. They didn't give him very many post badges either. He's a strictly defensive card, which isn't bad, but at the same time, like, if you can't score in the post either, he's kind of just useless. Dave Cowens. Dave Cowens is pretty good still, but he's definitely outdated. David Robinson. He's outdated, but he's still useful. Like, he's still okay. He plays good defensively. He moves pretty well. He's still got nice size. This David Robinson is S tier, though. You could argue he's the best center in the game. I personally am not a huge fan of the card. Like, he's good, do not get me wrong. I still prefer, like, Dirk. But at the same time, like, his combination of defense and pretty solid offense still, with his ability to handle the ball and have decent speed, he's a complete package, man. He'll improve anybody's team that picks him up. I'm not even kidding. DeAndre Ayton. I actually like Eaton. If you badge him up, he's probably B tier, but as normal, I'd put him C. DeAndre Jordan, I'd probably put him in D tier. I think Bamba is getting dropped. He's just so good on the glass. Like, he's definitely better than these guys. Ilgauskas, he can shoot, and he grabs a lot of rebounds, puts him over the F tier guys, but he's still not good at all. Robert Parrish. Parrish is tough, man. Because I actually was using this card the other night, and he's not as bad as I thought he was going to be. He's not good, but he can at least hit the mid-range, and he plays great defense, and he can dominate in the post. I wish he had deep hooks, but he doesn't really trigger hook shot animations very much anyway. He does have quick first step and, like, terrible ball handling. I'd put him in C. Put him behind Arvidas, like around C somewhere. I don't think he's necessarily B tier, but he's good. Oh, you knew. You know Dino's going B tier. I can't leave Dino alone. Come on, he's fake. You might not agree with me, but for 3,000 MT, there's not a better card in this entire game that you can buy. He's probably up to 5 now, but still. Bargnani. He plays absolutely zero defense, but at the same time, he's 7 feet tall and has a lights-out three-pointer. C tier. I like him better than Arvidas. I still like... I'll take him over Brook Lopez, personally. But that's just a preference thing. When it comes to play style, like, you might like Brook Lopez or Arvidas a little bit more than Bargnani. I understand that. Taco Fall. He's like way worse Yao Ming. I'd still put him in D tier. I think Bol Bol's better than these guys, but I'd put him down in D. I don't think he's F tier necessarily. The Dirks, yeah, the Dirks are S tier. They changed his jump shot, and it's just so good. I will say, if you have problems greening jump shots consistently, Dirk Nowitzki might not be the card for you. Like, David Robinson makes a lot more whites than Dirk does. That's something I've personally observed. Like, Dirk misses a lot of whites. But the trade-off is his jump shot is a lot easier to green, so tough to really say. Boozer, oh my god, I hate Boozer so much. But at the same time, I gotta be objective when it comes to the cards. He is a free card, which is cool. He's also, like, just not very good. But he can hit from outside a little bit. He's not terrible. He's actually really good in the post, surprisingly. And he plays semi-competent defense. I'd put him, like, C tier over here somewhere. Probably, like, down towards the bottom. I don't really like him, but people can have success with this card. Like, he's definitely better than the D tier guys, for sure. And for certain teams, he's probably better than Cowens. He's probably better than, I'd say he's better than these guys. Moses is A tier, for sure. He requires shooting badges, which is the only thing that keeps him out of S tier. Like, yes, if he's fully badged up, you could argue Moses Malone is an S tier card, but I think as is, come standard, he's probably an A tier guy, possibly even upper B, just because he's only like really a defensive guy. But he's such a good point center that I would put him in A tier. I like this card a lot. Bill Russell, he's just outdated, but he's still a really good defender. Wayne Embry, he is outdated, but I'd probably put him somewhere around like, I still think he's better than Brook Lopez and Bargnani. I think he's probably the best center in C tier overall. He requires some shooting badges, but he's really solid. Sabonis, I actually like Sabonis. Like, he's probably the best center in B tier, if we're being honest. Like, he probably is. Like, I prefer Dino Raja, but I'm not insane. Like, Sabonis is the best one in B tier. Dwight Howard, he's still, since the post update, he's really, really good in the post, but it's hard to really put him. I'd put him like right here. And then this Dwight, I'd probably put him like second best card in D tier, because he still moves really well, dunks hard, and plays well in the post. But Eddie Curry's actually not bad. I would probably use him over... offensively, he's just so much better than Clint Capela. Demarcus Cousins. I'll put both of these guys ahead of Dino. Like, I don't like it, and Boucher. I don't necessarily agree with that. Like, once again, I prefer Dino over these guys just because I'm very green with his jumper, and I like his point forward and point center abilities, but objectively, DeMarcus Cousins is still a slightly better card if you don't badge up your Dino Raja. So, Greg Oden. He can shoot a little bit, and he's pretty big. I'd probably put him in, like, D tier. I don't like him very much, but can't argue. Bogut. Bogut's really good at, like, 3 things. Like, he's great defensively, he rebounds the ball, and you can hit the mid-range. Like, I'd probably put him right around, like, Dwight Howard. Like I said, depending on playstyle, you could argue that, like, Bogut... I'll probably put Parrish, like, right down here, too. You could argue that Bogut's better than these guys. This isn't a complete ranking, it's just, like, a personal one, but... Hakeem Olajuwon, I think, is still, like, bottom C tier. Like, he's still really good. The Hakeem animations are always really tight in game. He's got a low badge count, but if you can look past that, he's still really good. Regular Hakeem. Straight out of the box, he's better than Moses Malone. But if Moses Malone is badged up, I think he's better than Hakeem. But Hakeem's still an A-tier center in this game, in my opinion. He is that good. Hassan Whiteside, he's like top of D tier. He's just so good defensively. Like, he's a defensive stopper. He moves really well. He's a significantly better DeAndre Jordan, so I'm going to move DeAndre Jordan down. Jack Sikma. Jack Sikma's pretty good, but C tier would make sense for him. Pink Diamond Jokic. C tier for him, too. He's still got some value. He's just not as good as he once was. His jump shot's a little bit slow, too. But he's still actually really good from when he came out. Bob Mcadoo. Bob McAdoo's B tier. I actually like this card a lot. He's a really, really nice point center type card. He moves incredibly well. He moves similar to Retro Giannis. They're very, very similar cards. But he's significantly better defensively. Giannis is better than Bob McAdoo defensively, I should clarify. Just because of his Giannis animations and size. Like, if Giannis played center primary, I know he's ranked a little lower in my power forward list. I think he's like B tier or A tier. He'd be right around. Like, Bob McAdoo's a worse version, but he's also better at certain things, too. It's tough. Ilgauskas. This Ilgauskas is not that bad. Like, he's very wet from outside. Very similar to Jack Sikma. He's not the best defensively, but he's not as slow as his counterpart. I actually like this card a lot. Bill Russell. I just don't think Bill Russell's as good as Hakeem or Moses Malone, personally. Now, let me finish out the list. I might move him up to be A tier, but as of right now, I think he's the top, tippity top of B tier. I just wish he could shoot a little bit better, and that would qualify him for A tier, but as of right now, I think he's, like, perfect where he's at. Jarrett Allen. This card is sneaky good. Like, he's sneaky good. He's really fast. He dunks really hard. He's got really awesome card art. Aaron Baines. Fully evoed, he's like near the top of C tier. He's got kind of a slow jump shot. That's really the only issue. I'd probably put him like by Ilgauskas and like Jokic. Like, that actually makes sense for him. But really, he's a fantastic card. I'm actually a big fan of that. I was surprised. I hate Antonio Davis so much. He's like worst by Umbo. JaVale, I like you, buddy, but yeah, you're down by like Mark Eaton and Gilmore. Just slow, lumbering center. Bob Lanier. I would actually put Bob Lanier towards the top of D tier. I actually like this card a lot. He's been one of my favorite cards all year long at the center position. Obviously, I don't use him anymore, but at the same time, like, he's still usable. I hope they allow us to get the old Ascension cards, maybe on like Season 6 or something. You go up the Ascension and like each board has an old Ascension card. That'd be cool, because I know a lot of people missed out on some of these cards, and they'll be helpful for Spotlight Sims, so it'd be nice to get them again. Embiid. I think Embiid's better than Demarcus Cousins, personally. Toss up on if he's better than Sabonis. He's definitely not as good as Bill Russell, though. Alonzo Mourning, I mean, he plays great defense, but he's outdated. This Shaq, where's Dwight Howard? Yep, right there. Bam. Valanciunas, he's slow, but he actually plays pretty well. Like, jump shooting, everything's pretty on point. Kareem, where is Shaq and Dwight Howard? Yep. I actually like Kareem better than all these cards, so I'm going to put him here. No, Bogut. You get down there, too. That being said, is Kareem better than these guys? Probably not, but I prefer Kareem over them. Oops. It hurts. I don't want to give this dude any credit, but C tier. Jared Sullinger is C tier for sure. I actually like him a lot. Like, I like him better than all of these guys. Personally. Like, I would be willing, and if this was my bias only, he'd be up by like Wayne Embry as one of the top cards in C tier, but objectively, like, he's C tier. Kevin Love is probably right around C tier too. I actually like him a lot. I would put him by like Jared Sullinger. He's like better Bargnani. This Patrick Ewing, he's not good, but I put him like by Bill Russell probably. He's not good, but objectively, like, Ilgauskas is only skating out of F tier because he can shoot and rebound. That's it. Like, Clint Capela is the next I hate this card, but he's really good defensively, so maybe I'll leave it how it is. McHale. I think McHale might miss S tier. He's still a really good card, but at the same time, I think he's the best of these guys in A tier. Objectively, like, right out of the box, but at the same time, like, you can argue S tier, you can argue B tier, you can argue that these two are better. Like, I personally prefer Moses Malone. But that's also because I didn't get McHale, and I've only played with him a few times, so maybe that's why I prefer Moses Malone so much, but I have been done dirty by this McHale online a few times. Kristaps. Kristaps is still really good. Like, he is. B tier. I don't think he's down in C tier. Diamond Sabonis, towards the top of C tier. I don't think he's... People keep saying that he's like the same as the Pink Diamond. Like, out of the box, objectively, he's not. There's a big badge disparity and stat disparity between the two. That being said, I love this Diamond Sabonis card. One of my favorite free cards this year. But I'd probably put him down with like Aaron Baines. Like, and Kevin Love, Jared Sullinger, very similar cards. Opal Diesel, I would put up here in B tier. Like, if we were doing personal rankings, the only thing that Shaq that can't do is shoot. That's it. Other than that, he does everything. You can run him as point center. He plays dominant defense, rebounds, post moves. He's got it all. He just cannot shoot, which is fine. Like, for my play style, he's probably down a little farther, but I still think he's better than most of these guys. Sabonis, I mean, he's probably overall better than Sabonis, but Sabonis does bring that sharp shooting, so I'll just leave it like that. Aldridge, he's not very good, but he's better than most of these guys in D tier. Dikembe, still a really good defensive stopper, but that just doesn't mean much at this point. Like, same with this one. I actually like this one better for lower overall reasons. Larry Sanders, same thing. Great defensive card. That's about all he brings to you is defense and speed, but he does it in a very good way. He blocks, these two cards block more shots than majority of the cards up here. I'm not even kidding. Steven Adams, I'd put him towards the top of C tier. He's very, very good defensively. He moves really well too. He's so useful for spotlight sims. I'm not even kidding. Like, he's probably one of the cards that I would recommend over anyone to get those spotlight sims done. He's not a good he's not a good shooter though, but he's just so good defensively. It's tough. He's like Clint Capela, but significantly better. Probably put him like down here somewhere. But around Robert Parrish and all those guys. This LaMarcus, I like this card a lot, but he does have some issues. I'd put him like towards the top of C tier. Alonzo Mourning, same thing. Great card, great defender. He can even shoot a little bit. His jump shot's just a little bit slow. I'm going to move Sigma. Or I'm going to move Chris Kaman down. I don't really like Chris Kaman too much. But he's good. I'll give him that. It's not worth locking in for, but, you know. Swen Nader. Where's your friends? Yep, go down there. Sim Bular. I hate to do it to you, Sim. I actually like you more than all the rest of the cards, but Manu can at least step out and shoot a little bit. That being said, he sucks. I hate him, but Marc Gasol, I would say Marc Gasol is still B tier. He's better than Dino Raja. Like, if we're being honest. Just depends how you feel about Hakeem is how you're going to feel about Marc Gasol, because he's basically a worse version. Same with this one. I mean, this one's probably right around like Aaron Baines, Sabonis, Sullinger, Kevin Love area. Pretty good card. Patrick Ewing, I would say he's like low-end C tier. Same with his counterpart down here. I don't know. They're okay. Wilt, I would say he's still B tier. Like, he's better than Yao Ming with speed and ball handling ability, but he's not as complete as some of the guys in A and S tier. Like, personally, I think LaMarcus Aldridge is better than a couple of these guys in B tier, but like objectively overall, he's not. He is not very good defensively and is kind of slow, which is an issue, but I do like his shot creation. I know there's at least going to be one guy who comes in my comments and is mad because Wayne Embry is in C tier, but like, I'm ranking these guys non-badged up, alright? Like, non-badged up Wayne Embry is not as good as Bob McAdoo or Chris Boucher, or, honestly, even Dino Raja. Marcus Camby, where are all my, like, defensive guys? I would probably put him down in, like, C tier. I don't think he's really, like, Clint Capela bad, but he's alright. Probably towards the bottom. Bill Walton, same thing. Where's all my hulking monstrosity guys that can't really shoot? Yep. Andrew Bogut, Parrish, Walton, Shaq, Dwight. All similar. Mitchell Robinson, where is Hassan Whiteside? Yeah, you deserve to go right there. Mo Bamba, same thing. I like this card a lot, but I can't sit here and tell you that, you know what, I can. He's better than some of these guys. He's better than Valanciunas. I like him better than Bam. Put him in C tier. This Moses Malone, he moves really well and shoots from midi. Where's Bob Lanier at? Because they deserve to be right next to each other. This Karl Anthony Towns, probably one of the best cards in D tier, but D tier nonetheless, I would say. Nate Thurman. I don't know. He's just lacking a lot of badges. He's really good defensively, though, but he's just kind of slow and doesn't bring a lot on offense. I would use a lot of the guys in C tier above him, personally. You know, he's still good enough that I would put him down in, like, Shaq area, or, like, down towards the bottom with, like, Camby and Valanciunas. George Mikan, I mean, if you badge him up, he's probably C or B tier, but he just doesn't have, like, any badges at this point, so I'd put him down here. I don't know. I'm, like, more harsh on this Mikan card than a lot of people are, so maybe I'm tripping on George Mikan. I'm not sure. He used to be elite, but I don't know. He just doesn't have the badges anymore. He shoots pretty well. I'd put him in C tier, actually. I'd probably use him ahead of, like, Patrick Ewing. I am a little harsh on that card. I need to chill on him. I go way too hard on this card. Nate Thurman, I'm a little, like, I don't know. Yeah, C tier makes sense for him. He plays really good defense. He's not terribly slow. I can't say that he's that much worse than a lot of these guys. Jokic is tough. This is all kind of a preference thing on Jokic. Like, he's so complete, though. It's really hard to, like, deny how complete he is. I would probably put him in S tier. I think that Dirk is a little bit better, in my opinion, but I think the hero Jokic is obviously better than Dirk. But I think Dirk's a little bit better than Jokic, and David Robinson's kind of fresh, so he seems better than these guys, and I played around with him a little bit, and he moves just as well as these guys, but he seems to be better defensively. A little bit worse offensively, at least with shooting, but his jump shot's not that bad. So I'm not really ranking the S tier guys just because That's all personal preference, but they do all deserve to belong here. This Pau Gasol, D. Ralph Sampson, he's got more in his offensive bag than a lot of these guys in F tier, so I'd put him right here. Gobert, I would say he's still good enough to warrant like C tier, like probably right around Bosch and Sabonis and stuff. I hate this Gobert, but he's still good enough to be right around. Where'd I put Clint Capela? He's got to be around here somewhere. Yep. He's good enough defensively. He might get C tier. I don't know. It just depends. Sean Bradley. I hate Sean Bradley so much. Thon Maker, I like you, but D tier. Anthony Davis, this one's going to be controversial, but I really do think he's still S tier. He's just more straight out of the box complete than these guys in A tier, in my personal opinion. I mean, it's weird that there's more S tier guys than A tier right now, so I'm going to have to change that, but I just think there's no way I can argue any of these guys don't deserve to be in S tier. They're all complete cards. I think Anthony Davis is better than Jokic, by the way, personally. But, you know, that's just me. Vlade Divac, C tier. Willis Reed, he moves well. Put him in, like, D. This Wilt Chamberlain, probably around D tier. So, the question is, do any of the guys in B tier deserve to go up to A? I personally don't think so. The only one that you could really make a case for would be like Bill Russell and Sabonis, but I think Bill Russell is a little bit one-dimensional. He's very good defensively, obviously, and he can shoot a little bit, but I just don't think he's quite complete enough to be with those guys up in A tier, man. I just don't. His lack of a three ball, and he's like Moses Malone is just as good, if not better defensively, than Bill Russell. But he has that three ball and he has the speed. Bill Russell does have 91 speed, which is nice, and an 86 ball handle. 84 speed with ball is solid. He can run point forward. He's almost like a significantly better Bob Mcadoo. It's just he doesn't bring that jump shooting that I think he needs to go up to A tier. Like Mikhail, Hakeem, and Moses can all crack from outside on a consistent basis, but Bill Russell just does not. I still think he's one of the best cards in B tier, but I can't say for certain that he deserves to be a tier above guys like Bob McAdoo and Shaquille O'Neal. Like, I really don't think he does. Marc Gasol is just worse Hakeem, so I don't think he deserves to be an A tier. Demarcus, personally, I think B tier just makes sense for all the guys that are in it. I know people are going to fry me in the comments. That's fine. I don't care. But let me know down below what you think of the list. I know my list usually do not have more cards in S tier than A tier. I just think the center position is so weirdly balanced right now with 2K that if I tried to balance it out myself, I think I'd just end up being, I don't know, wrong. I'd be lying at that point. If I tried to move any of these guys out of S tier and put them in A, like, that wouldn't be truthful. I think these are the top centers in the game. There's no real difference in opinion from a lot of people. And I think the A tier guys, if I tried to move any of them up, like, yeah, badged up Moses Malone is probably S tier. Badged up Mikhail, probably S tier. I think Hakeem's jump shot's just a little too slow to get him in S tier, but he's still incredibly good. And yeah, if you badge some of these guys up, yeah, I'm sure you can put them in like A or S tier, but I think as of right now, this just makes the most sense. And Yao is a special case because of how good he is in the post, that he is elevated above some of these C tier guys. I mean, if we're talking about more complete, I'm sure like LaMarcus is overall a little bit more complete than Yao Ming, but he's just a special case in himself, you know. So as always, it's been your boy Cheap Ludes. Like, comment down below, man. Tell me where I'm wrong. I really don't care what you agree with, what guys that you should move up, what guys that you should move down, or would, I should say. As always, check my description, and I will be back with some more content tomorrow for the pack drop. Hopefully the leaks are true, and we're getting Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't know, man. And James Worthy. I love James Worthy in game. That would be great. By the way, Spencer Haywood, I would probably put in like A or B. Low A or high B tier. Spencer Haywood is a really, really good looking card, by the way. I haven't played with him yet, which is why I did not want to rank him. I haven't got him yet. But just looking at the card, he has great badges. He does lack some shooting badges, similar to Moses Malone. Size-wise, he's a little bit under. I think he's like 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan, which is solid. But at the same time, like, he does have some size issues. He lacks some shooting badges. But that being said, his combo of speed, defense, and ball handling is huge. In my opinion, he looks like much better Bob Mcadoo. I would probably put him in low A tier. He looks to be like a better Bill Russell, in my opinion, that can shoot. So that's on me. But as always, thanks for watching. Peace out.